What if all the money disappeared tomorrow? Imagine a world with no banknotes, credit cards, or digital transactions. How would we buy groceries, pay for housing, or even afford a cup of coffee? Money has been the lifeblood of society for centuries, but without it, would we band together or fall into chaos? Buckle up as we explore what might happen if our entire monetary system vanishes in the blink of an eye. The old saying goes, money makes the world go round. Whether you believe it or not, there's some truth in that. We rely on money for everything, from paying bills and providing for families to pursuing occasional luxuries. There's reportedly around $1.67 trillion in circulation in the United States alone. The global figure is even more astonishing as it is estimated to exceed $80 trillion, according to the CIA. We work for money to feed our families, pay bills, travel, and buy anything from daily needs to occasional luxuries. Some people use their wealth to buy yachts, mansions, and private planes, while others are weighed down by debt and empty bank accounts, left wishing their wallet could grow like a chia pet. But what if money did not exist? No dollar bills, no coins jingling in your pocket. How would you trade that morning coffee or grab a new pair of sneakers? In many ways, it would be like going back in time. Historians debate when exactly money was invented, but estimates suggest it emerged around 5,000 years ago. Before it was widely used, people relied on bartering to trade goods and services. If you were skilled at building chairs but terrible at hunting, you'd trade your chair for some meat. But what if the hunter didn't want the chair or felt the chair wasn't worth the boar? Here's where money made a difference and where the great chair versus meat debate finally ended. Before we dig deeper, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can stay tuned for more fascinating explorations like this one. With no money to keep things in order, crime would skyrocket. Armed gangs would grab what they could, and people would huddle together like squirrels defending their last acorn, hiding in groups to protect limited resources. Forget about keeping the peace. Without money to fund public services, there'd be no cops to keep the streets safe, no firefighters to put out fires, and no doctors to patch you up. You better keep that first aid kit ready. Imagine trying to survive in a world where hospitals can't operate because there's no money to pay staff or buy equipment. Police departments can't afford officers, leaving neighborhoods to fend for themselves. If your house catches fire, don't count on a fire truck rolling in because firefighters can't afford their hoses, let alone the gas to reach you. Instead of order and stability, we'd have chaos and fear. Communities would rely on makeshift agreements and mutual protection, but good luck keeping things peaceful when resources are scarce and everyone's out for themselves. And what about technology? Without money, say goodbye to power, water, and all those essentials. Nobody would maintain these systems because there wouldn't be a price tag keeping them going. So, unless you're thrilled about living by candlelight, this could be a real problem. Think about it. The power plants that generate our electricity rely on paid engineers, technicians, and workers. They can't keep the lights on if there's no money to pay salaries or buy equipment. Water treatment facilities would face the same fate. Clean water relies on a network of paid professionals, chemicals, and machinery. Good luck getting your favorite gadgets to work without power or water. No internet, no streaming, and no digital connections. Say farewell to the binge-watching marathons too. Even manufacturing the basic components of technology would grind to a halt without a financial system to coordinate production and pay workers. The psychological impact would go beyond just the in-store brawls. Life savings would vanish and steady incomes would be wiped out. People who worked hard or earned their wealth in various ways would suddenly lose the fruits of their labor. When India tried to partially demonetize in 2016 by invalidating certain currency bills, some people died of heart attacks after their fortunes changed, while others took their own lives. Workers refused to work as faith and wages plummeted. Now, imagine this on a global scale. In this brutal survival of the fittest world, those with guns would probably have the upper hand. Armed groups would likely band together to snatch resources with less risk. Factions will form like early tribes, where people would group up for safety and control. The streets? Definitely not safe. Ambushes would lurk around every corner, and anything valuable would be fiercely guarded, like your last piece of chocolate during a zombie apocalypse. We'd end up huddling in fortified communities. Sending out teams to raid other groups or ally with neighbors would become routine. But here's the tricky part. Reviving bartering isn't as simple as it sounds. Back in the day, trading fewer items made deals easier to strike. Today, we're overloaded with stuff, and figuring out what's fair would be a nightmare. Is an organic apple worth the same as a GMO orange? What about counterfeit goods sneaking into the mix? And if everything has an expiration date, how can you stockpile and save up? Ultimately, the chaos would force us to rethink how we handle our basic needs. We'd all be looking over our shoulders, forming alliances, and finding new ways to measure value in a world where cash has lost its worth. If money no longer drives us, how would our priorities shift? Could we find a new purpose beyond the pursuit of wealth, or would we still cling to our old habits? Even though it would be chaotic, without money, people might focus on what truly matters. They would find careers they enjoy or excel at rather than chasing a bigger paycheck. Even advertisements pushing us to buy more would disappear or change their approach, emphasizing new values beyond cash. Maybe we'd finally escape those infomercials trying to sell us magic kitchen gadgets no one needs. We'd eventually need to restore some order, which means getting back to work. But the job market would look entirely different. Personal wealth would no longer dictate careers or daily tasks, and with big contracts gone, everyone would be valued equally. People would pursue roles they enjoy or are skilled at, and the rich and poor alike would work side by side. Those once burdened by financial stress could thrive, while the wealthy would be freed from the grip of greed. Yet, some people would still try to exploit the system or refuse to cooperate, risking the fragile sense of community. Hoarders might rise to power, monopolizing essential goods to secure control. Egos would flare as people demand recognition for their hard work, even without a paycheck to motivate them. The loss of money could also discourage people from pursuing challenging careers like surgeons, lawyers, or teachers, causing standards to slip. Inevitably, we'd feel the urge to establish a new form of currency. First, we'd rely on bartering. From there, a new kind of money might quickly emerge, but redistributing it fairly would be a challenge. People wouldn't tolerate recreating the old social hierarchies after tasting the benefits of financial equality. Alternatively, we might shrink into smaller, close-knit communities relying on each other for support. These tribal circles would have specific roles based on skills and needs. One carpenter, one chef, one enforcer, and so on. However, this setup wouldn't last long due to our deep-rooted desire to rebuild larger, interconnected societies. After all, everyone wants more than one chef in the kitchen. In the end, as disappointing as it sounds, we'd probably rush to create a new currency. Though money doesn't grow on trees, unfortunately, it's a crucial part of modern society. While a utopia where everyone works for each other sounds wonderful, it doesn't account for the complexities and flaws of human nature. Yet, even without cash, life wouldn't come to a complete stop. History and some remote communities show that life can flourish without banknotes and coins. Money is important, but it isn't everything. Sometimes a barter of your best baked goods is just what the village needs. In the end, we leave you with this thought. What if we could measure worth in a way that reflects our shared humanity and values instead of just relying on cash? What if we designed a system where everyone's contributions were recognized, regardless of their background? And what if we could balance progress with fairness, creating a world where everyone has a fair shot at a better life? The possibilities are endless if we can think beyond the dollar bill.